they gather information in this country to every means because they want to know. They want to have enough. And this is the same thing. We're going to talk about that means of acquiring information and do we have it? So by you listening to me, it is not going to be where you have to go and buy a book. You already got the book. The book is the book that's in your hand, whether it's in Hebrew or English, it's the book. It has everything in it. And it will bring you, as long as you have, that's why you must read it. You must understand that it's about you. So I'm just going to wait for a couple more minutes and then I'm going to start. I'm going to open it up with a prayer. And then I'm going to deal with the circumstances that seems to be turbulent. But like I said, for who? Because Yahweh says, comfort ye, my people. Comfort them where? When it's peace, because you don't need too much comfort in peace, but you definitely need comfort through the times of turbulence and disappointments. You need that. So how are we going to get that? It's important. Right now, so many things that we're looking around. And I want to make that very clear to you how. And I like to be held to my point so that you will know the truth of it because you have the book in front of you, you have the book, you'll be able to go back and you'll be able to review everything I'm saying. But like I said before, this book is actually one story, talking about one thing. So let me start the prayer and those that will come in. But I want to thank everybody that's here. We're going to have a great time because I'm not going to leave you empty. I'm going to leave you full to understand that we can walk through the fire. This is child's play to us. If we do what is to be done and how it was told us to do it, we don't have to worry about digging a tunnel or hiding ourselves. We don't have to worry about that. What we have to worry about is employing the things that it has told us to do. So let me start with the prayer. Davrakalapanaya, Shalakana, Nagada, Tisraraya, Tishanada, Ashamanarashia, Kawasaya, Rawaya, Kata, Waba, Wakasada, Yorada, Pawanaya, Kalaya, Maya, Khayaya, Washabataya, Abayada, Yahawahala, Wakaya, Maya, Ma. You prepare us a table before us in the presence of our enemies. You have anointed our head with oil. Our cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our life. Bora waka ba'a ka wabaraka atahabat ataka. Blessed shall you be when you cometh in, and blessed shall you be when you goeth out. Amarawa tistayukwa kaya tawaba kaya Haraya ma'at la la yahama ya'akalawa. Say ye to the righteous that it shall be well with him, for he shall eat the fruit of his doings. Yabarakaya habakaya shama'a kuala takana wanaya yahawaha atsayava maganaya bawapatachalabaya wana atzaradaya waya nazalabaya wamashaya raya ahawadanawa. Blessed be Yahweh because he has heard the voice of our prayer. Yahweh is our strength and our shield. Our heart trusts in him and we are helped. Therefore, our heart greatly rejoices. And with our song will we praise him. Praise be the name of Yahweh, who is God forever and ever. May his name be ever praised. Now, I'd like to get into the lesson that has been prepared for you. And we take the word Torah, but actually it's a celestial document. Torah is the rules of the physical and the spiritual. This is what you're reading, but it's celestial, it's heavenly, it's divine. Exodus 3 verse 8 said, I have come down to deliver you. So we know that the God that we serve, he told you where he came from. He said, I have come down to deliver you. He didn't say he come up. He said, I came down. This is very important. He says in Isaiah 34 verse 16, he says, seek you out of the book of Yahweh. He said, I want you to seek for me out of this book. And he also says in Hosea 8 verse 12, I have written to them of great things of my Torah, rules. Where did it come from? Is a celestial document from heaven, a divine document that is going to teach you. In Isaiah 28 verse 12 to 13, it says, this is the rest that will cause the weary to rest, but the word of Yahweh. So he's telling, he said, this is your rest. This, the word, his word is your rest that he has promised to you. So Yahweh God has told us, so where are we? Because he told us where we at. He told us about our circumstances and what to put in place. But where are we at? And why is it this way? And why is it not another way? He says in Deuteronomy chapter 30, and it shall come to pass when all these things will come upon you, the blessing and the curse. What was the curse? And you will find no ease among these nations. He told you, he says, they're gonna mess you up. But he told them, he said, and it shall come to pass when all these things will come upon you, the blessing and curse, which I have set before you, and you will call them to mind among all the nations. And we've risen up on Facebook. We've gone out in the street and told them who we are. And it all came from this book. He said, you're going to bring it to mind and declare it to all the nations on the earth. And we have. Whether Yahweh thy God has given you. And thou shalt return unto Yahweh thy God, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day. Thou and thy children with all thy heart and with all thy soul. This is how we return. We are returning. Where are we at? We're in Egypt. He said, and thou shalt, where have we been sold? He told you. And who and what he said? Among these nations, you will find no ease. He told you where you will be so that you're not lost. He says, thou shalt go into Egypt again by the way I speak to your ships, and there you be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. This is so that you will know exactly who you are. You are the only captive people in the United States of America. This is important. Your information to who you are is your lifeline. And without it, you will be tossed. It says in Jeremiah 50 verse 7, it says, and their adversaries say, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh. They feel that they have, because of what they have done through slavery, lynching, they have poured debauchery into us, raping us, having children by us, and therefore keeping us from our laws, statutes, and judgment. They pour debauchery. And what you see is happening in this land. Remember, this is not the way these people are. This is the way they've been made to be. And this is why knowing some history of what has transpired will help you to understand who you are, that you may set yourself in the circumstances right. It says in Jeremiah 2, verse 3, Israel was holiness unto Yahweh, and the first fruit of his increase. All that devour him shall offend. So everybody that feels that whatever they have done to us, it does not matter. It does. Jeremiah 51, verse 5 says, for Israel has not been forsaken, nor Judah of his Elohim, Yahweh of hosts, though the land was full with sin against the Holy One of Yasharallah. So Yahweh is telling them, I have not forgotten these people. I have not, they are not forsaken. These things are written for you. It didn't say anything about anybody else. It says warning. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 8. For thus said Yahweh of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations, which spoil you, for he that touches you touches the apple of his eye. He's telling them, he said, look, y'all do not understand. This is a serious indictment in every aspect, that y'all have done what you've done to these people. And it says in Jeremiah 30, verse 16, therefore all they that devour you shall be devoured, and all their adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil you shall be spoiled, and all that prey upon you will I give for a prey. So Yahweh said, this is going to come back to you for what you have done to these people. You understand? And it goes on, and it implies to Israel. He says in Psalm 115, verse 9, Israel, trust in Yahweh. He said, Israel, you got to trust in me. You understand? It says in Isaiah 50, verse 10, he said, let him trust in the name of Yahweh and stay upon Elohim. He's telling you, he said, I need you to trust in me. Trust that I'm going to bring you through the circumstances that you think is horrible. Why? But he said, but I need you, as it has been written. This book that they call the Torah is the rules that explains to you how things will be done. He said also, he told him about being in Egypt. He told him, he said, you know, these people, how did we get out of Egypt from the beginning? And we will get into that also, you know, but he told you exactly where you at. He told you what exactly you will encounter among the circumstances that is not favorable for you. He wants you to know we are a spiritual people, and therefore we move in the Ruach of Yah. And to have that Ruach come and abide among us, it means that we have to have a structure of obedience. It is also said in Isaiah 29, verse 11, the vision, but if you look it up in Hebrew, it said the revelation, the Torah, the prophecy is the revelation to one people, Yeshua Allah. It has nothing to do with everybody else. It has only to do with you, because the 12 tribes of Israel are the balance of the universe. You're one with Yahweh God. You know, this information is not for everybody. That's why everybody, they're going to go to church Sunday. The very church that nobody would write them a letter and told them that they wasn't going to write them a letter, go to the church Sunday and they're going to be full up. But the thing about it is that they can't be mad at the people that won't help them. They have to be mad at them for not knowing that the Torah, this book they call the Bible, could you mute your phone? It's so important. And this is just to explain to you how we must understand what is important for us so we can put it into place so that we'll know how everything will work out for us. This is important. If we don't know how everything is going to work out for us, we're always going to be stagnating and fear. And it's not, and Yahweh has not given us fear. He's told Israel continuously, he said, Israel, fear not, for I am with you. It says in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh does man live by. This word, that's why he said the vision of all has come into the words, or the prophecy is a word, it's telling you. It said, this is how it's going to go. Isaiah 55, verse 11, he said, the words that go out of his mouth, it shall not come on to his void. So we must look for what Yahweh has said that will bring us into the harmony that we can relax. Seeing all this, he said, thou shalt behold the reward of the wicked. He said, you're going to see what's going on, because the next plague is fear. Fear. Because like I said, they're not strong people like you think. They may have a gun and they have missiles, but fear will change the hearts of anybody because they fear for their life. Just like they're taking these black boys' lives, the police officers, for a traffic stop. All of a sudden, he's arrested, he's shot, he's been beat up. I mean, this is an ongoing situation, and they say black lives don't matter. It's not saying all lives don't matter. It's saying these people are being assassinated by those that do not like them. And Yahweh told you, you will be in the land. And those that will reign, I'm not saying this because it ain't true. He told you, he said, look, you're going to be in a place and they're not going to like you, and they're going to beat on you. They're going to take everything from you. And this is happening. And people will tell you, oh, you are black. The black American is not all right unless he understands his journey in this country, because he has no means of standing up. He has no means of protecting himself. He cannot go to the court and tell them what has been done to him. Look, they're told, whatever you do, make sure he has the hardest time. If you cannot get justice through law and order, there's no justice for you. And I'm saying to you how important it is for you to realize that you're facing something that you must have an answer, or else you're going to perish for anguish, and you're going to be mad. Yahweh has called you to what? He said, let my people relax. But he told you, he said, look, he said, and you shall have no power to stand before your enemies. He told you, he said, you're not going to have no power. No, whether you take them to court, no matter you have a grievance, it's not going to prevail. What's going to prevail is by you keeping the commandments of your Zadik. Righteousness is what? He said, they that hate you shall reign over you. This is written down so that you won't take things. Leviticus 26, verse 37 says, and ye shall fall one upon another. You see how children shooting out each other like somebody else, as it were before a sword, when none pursue it, and you shall have no power to stand before your enemies. These are the words of Yahweh. Everything stands on Yahweh's word. He's not going to double cross. This whole universe stands on Yahweh's word. And the Torah is a celestial document to tell you how things work. It's not going to work no other way. If Yahweh say comfort you the people, he means to comfort the people. How you comfort? Let them understand the devil can't move without sanction. The devil, remember, Yahweh owns him. He made everything. He made the good spirits, the bad spirits, and he made you. And he gave you what you was to hold everything into place. But because of Yahweh had a greater plan, you went into the world. You are the savior of the world. You saved America. When you came here, you gave them free labor. They murdered you and they enjoyed every bit of it. They have a book called 100 Years of Lynching. Why would you do that to a people that you went and got? Yahweh told you, he says, among these nations, ain't nobody gonna protect us. Yahweh's word is final. And he told them at the same time. So when we want to get this, but as I said these things, in Jeremiah 24, verse 29, it said, is not my word like a fire, said Yahweh, and like a hammer that breaketh the rocks in pieces. He says, my word has gone forth. It's going to do. That's why he told Habakkuk. He said, Habakkuk said, Yahweh, man, the wicked encompass the righteous. What is wrong? He said, and I shall wait and see what he said. He said, this all is for an appointed time. Why? Because the appointed time was given to Esau when Isaac blessed him. He said, that dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and by that sword thou shalt live. And when you look up Esau was never chastised because he beat up the other nations. He was chastised because he beat up you. Nobody was supposed to touch us. When we went, we are helpless people, but we carry the blessing and the curse. And therefore, those that received us with kindness, they prospered. America, our birth in this country, was a birth of madness and a nightmare, because they had a time that you have to mute your phone. And they did miserable things to us, and therefore they got you blaming yourself, and you're not to blame. You understand? They made you the way you are. They took everything and tell you, well, you go to college and we're gonna teach you. A man doesn't know, and when a man doesn't know his own history, he is in trouble. The history of us here, of America, is one of the most superior history of a people that came into a country and dumped into this country the magnificence of the creation of Yahweh that gave it to him. Let me tell you something. You pass a hospital. One of the major gifts was blood plasma. It has served the whole entire world. And when Dr. Drew got in the accident, he died because they wouldn't give him a blood transfusion. You have to understand, my brothers and sisters, you always had the answer. It's not that they dislike you, they dislike themselves because we never done anything to them. We can relax. Self-hatred is a hard thing to cure. And you're not going to cure these people because they hate themselves. They don't hate you because you ain't never done nothing to them. They can't tell you one day you were an adversary to the well-being of America. Never. You understand? We've been trying to leave. When we came here, we was trying to find a boat to get out. So they can't say we have been the greatest to America and her well-being. And you got to understand that you've been the greatest asset to the United States of America. You should be the greatest. You said they should protect you. You should be the national, the worldwide treasure of this country because you've done everything to make them comfortable. And if you think I'm wrong, you go into history and see. They robbed us of everything. They took it. Even when we went down and built our towns, they got jealous, and there's nowhere that anybody got punished. They got pictures called No Sanctuary. They just burned us, castrated us. And the thing about it is that you did that to a helpless people that you went and got. You got us and brought us here. If you didn't like it, you put us back. They can't do it now. They're angry, but not at us. They're angry at themselves. It has nothing to do with us. Nothing. And that's why it says you have to know what's going to happen to you. There is only one way. No other book give answers to our oncoming situation. No other book. Because Yahweh, the creation is an arrangement that makes everything functions in order. That's what the creation is arranged in such that everything. How was it arranged? It was arranged by Abraham. He says, blessing, he should be a blessing for all the families of the earth. That one man was a blessing of all the families of the earth. That's how it's made. It goes on to say, Ishmael was giving the blessing. The covenant was established with Isaac. And in your seed shall the nations be blessed. This is how it works. Esau was the eldest son. And therefore it was told in Genesis 27, verse 20, he told him, he said, the older shall serve the younger. It told him, it says, and the nations are in your womb. 2 nations are in your womb. And the elder shall serve the younger. This is the pattern of the universe that Yahweh through the celestial document that was given to us, telling you exactly how things are going to work. It's not going to work no other way. Nobody hates them. You can't stop. It's hard to make somebody not hate themselves. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. It says, remember, nothing can save you other than righteousness. Righteousness is the only thing that can save you. You understand? Without righteousness, you can't be saved. You don't look. You know what I'm saying? It's only way. The only way you can be saved is by keeping these commandments, because that was what was prescribed for you to do. And therefore, if you don't keep it, then you don't look for nothing else, because that's how it's coming through. You have to keep the commandments. You understand? So in knowing that, Yahweh has told you to keep the Shabbat, you have to keep it. You have to. To put friend, it says in Ezekiel 14:14 said, though these 3 men, Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, they shall deliver but their own souls by their righteousness. That's the only way it's done. It has nothing to do. It says, when you unstable moral behavior, everything else will follow that's evil. So the moral is being unstable. And therefore, everything we can expect is going to be what? Evil. It says, and the reason why, as is written, I have said, he has said in his heart, Elohim has forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. They don't believe that Yahweh God, our God, sees this. They don't believe. That's what he said, because, as it says in Ecclesiastes 8, verse 11, because sentence against the evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the hearts of the sons of men are fully set to do evil, because they don't see the punishment direct. It says the journey of the 12 tribes of Israel in the United States of America is over. Our journey here is over. It's been over. We're just waiting. Our journey in this country has been over. And that's why Yahweh told Habakkuk, he said, wait, though it might tarry, just wait. And that's what we're doing. We're waiting. It ain't nothing. What you gonna do? You're gonna ask them to do what for you? They have no desire to do anything for you. Look, if you look at here and see what's happening, you'll find out they have no desire to change. The tribes are just waiting for the destruction. That's what we're waiting for. What else are you waiting for? There's nothing else to wait for, because you've been so handled so roughly and viciously and murdered. I mean, what are you gonna work? If you drive a car, the officer stops you, you give him his license. At the moment you say something that so it impedes a circumstances of adversity, let me tell you something. They're not going to make it through here, because they don't have any answers, and they think that there are people among these people. They feel superior because they have never got hurt. It's just like Governor Wallace. That racist man, go and look at it. When that bullet hit him, pain, my brothers and sisters, changes things. This country ain't been in pain yet. When they get in pain, they're going to acknowledge everything. It's just nothing but a matter of time. They can't be mad with you. You don't have no weapons. You ain't got no army. You ain't got nothing. The people that's going to destroy them is them. It has nothing to do with me. All criminals, all gangsters destroy themselves. All of them. They tell on the other ones and swear, I ain't tell you nothing. They told it all. So it says, the Torah is the word and the thoughts of Yahweh. And the 12 tribes of Israel live by the words of Yahweh and the thoughts of Yahweh. He said, we live by his word, by his thoughts. That's why it says in Jeremiah 32, verse 42, it says, for thus said Yahweh, like I have brought all this great evil upon this people, I will, or it says, so will I bring upon them all the good that I have promised them. If you go into that Jeremiah 32, verse 42, get a Hebrew translation. The promise is the word. Yes. Go and look it up. When Yahweh said he promised, see, the words of Yahweh to us is what we totally, because he said everything is built by Yahweh's word. And he's not going to change his word. He's going to add, that's why he said, Israel, I want you to trust me, distrust me. By the word and the thoughts of Yahweh, the 12 tribes of Israel is established. We are established by Yahweh's word. For I know the thoughts that I think of you, think toward you, said Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. So Yahweh is telling you how he's dealing with you. He says his thoughts, his words, and this is why you read it, so you'll understand that Yahweh God has not deserted. He's given you the word. He said in Isaiah 57, verse 19, I created the fruit of the lips. Peace, peace to him that is far off and to him that is near, said Yahweh, and I will heal him. These are the words we hold so dear to us, because if these words don't help us, my brothers and sisters, you don't have no help. If these words are not the words of truth that we can set our total confidence, then we don't have no help. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, said Yahweh. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I send. Yahweh is telling you, he said, my word is that I uttered out of my mouth, like he mentioned, he said, I will not change that which that has come out of my mouth. It's his words. He said, you can hold on to the truth that Yahweh God will not double cross you. That the only thing you got is what is said in here. He told you that the righteous shall reap the fruit of his doing. He knows that the circumstances, Yahweh can't punish the wicked if they don't do wickedness. You can't punish an innocent man. You understand? But Yahweh has to give the time that he has given, because Isaac, through his mouth, blessed Esau. This is Esau. You can't tell me one black nation that has atomic weapons. Maybe I'm short of it. I don't know too many dark nations that have atomic weapons. That's right. He shared it with everybody that looked like him. If this ain't Esau, you tell me who he is. This is my brother. He said, the days of mourning for my father's, and I shall slay my brother. He didn't, you understand? That when you look at Yahweh said, for the violence against your brother, you shall be cut off forever. This he didn't say for dropping the bombs on other nations. It was you. You understand? Like you have to fight for everybody. You can't fight for yourself. But if you keep these commandments, as it says here, the 12 tribes of Israel has total confidence in the words of Yahweh, written in the Torah and prophecy, that the tribes of Israel will return from captivity. That's our whole thing, that we will return. And what is it based on? The word of Yahweh God. Remember, we the tribes of Yasharallah are just waiting for the spirit. Yes, that's all we waiting for. When that spirit hit us, we gone. We gone. They're gonna be looking, because they looking where they won't see it coming with all that they're looking for. It said the decision of the wicked will swallow up the people. Their decision that they're making is going to swallow these people up. You can see it. They can't make good decisions. Why? It says, Isaiah 19, it says, Yahweh mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunk man staggers in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for the Egyptian, which the head or the branch or the rash may do. So it's coming to that, because they have made some very bad situation. But why? Let's go into Daniel 12, verse 11. When you speak to the wicked of fairness or righteousness, they do not understand. They hear it. It just doesn't register. It makes no sense to them. And it says, many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. So he's telling you, he said, they hear you. When you tell them about, they hear you. They can't understand it. They don't understand your suffering. They don't understand until it happened to them. See, it hasn't happened to them yet. And therefore, and we're sitting around, if you sitting around and think they have an answer for you, my brothers and sisters, they don't have an answer for themselves. They don't have an answer for themselves. They're mad at you and you ain't done nothing to them. They watch you worse than anybody. And you have no way of doing anything for yourself. So I'm saying to you, it says here, and you shall go into Egypt by the way I speak to you about ships, and there you will be sold. And you shall go into Egypt again. And he said, and that's what he said, you going there again. And he says here, Yahweh has mingled that diverse spirit. He has that diverse spirit has been mingled in them. And therefore, he says, Egypt will not change until pain comes. They're not going to change, my brothers and sisters. And this is Egypt. They're not going to change. They don't know anything about something. When it hit them, they'll change. Not until you can go in there. The thing is that, remember, we're the most balanced people in the United States of America. If they thought we were so stupid, they wouldn't bother us. You understand? They gave everybody something, but they ain't gonna give you nothing. Why? Because you would leave them alone and go about your business. It's not you, my brothers and sisters. You have to keep the Shabbat. You have to talk to Yahweh God. You got to go into this book and see. As it says in Isaiah 42, verse 9, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare before they spring forth. I will tell you of them. He didn't say he would tell everybody. He said, I'll tell you. And Hosea 5, verse 9, who he said, among the tribes of Israel have I made known that which shall surely be. We know what's coming on here. And he didn't say that they would. Why? Because that diverse spirit. As the evil forces take away the souls of the people without them even knowing it. You understand? It says the forces of evil cause them to occupy themselves with the trivial things of this life. Let's go down there and beat on these poor people. The wicked has lost, and the devil has deserted his children. My brothers and sisters, this is what has happened right before our eyes. It says one of the many tragedies of life is when you do not know when it's over and you keep going and it's over. It's over. They keep doing the same stupid thing. Let's beat on them. Let's do them wrong. Let's make sure they have, it's over. Let's go down and get Harlem. Give us some money and you can keep, they don't want Harlem. They don't want this place. If you left and went to the worst part, they'll come over there and take it. The devil knows it's over, but his children do not know. He knows it's over. He knows it's over, you know, and his children are sitting there trying to figure out, is it over? It's been over, but it's tarrying. Yahweh's a merciful God. Right now, one of the biggest movements is global sodomy. You're going to all countries telling two men have to stay with each other and marry each other. This is the only time on a planet that this has ever happened because they have the best communication. They have the best travel. They have the most sophisticated of murdering people, artillery. They got, I mean, it is so sophisticated. It says our justice, the 12 tribes of Israel will come from Yahweh. We're not going to get no justice from these people, not one bit. They'll tell you, you're all killing each other. Well, guess what? You're the promoter of it. You understand what I'm saying? You promoting this. You made this happen. But you're going to say, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Just like it says in Leviticus 26, verse 37, it says, you ain't going to have no power to stand before your enemies. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies. You should be sold onto your enemies. And that's who they are. They're not your friends. They can't be your friend. Why? Because they're not a friend to themselves. If they was a friend to themselves, you would have a better world. They can't. They're mentally disturbed, but you can't see that. They're universities. You understand? You look what the type of people you have created, and they come right behind and execute such tragedy on a helpless group of people. And that's who you are. Yahweh sent you in the world to say, who will know these are my chosen people, that I have chosen them? They know it. They know it. It says, I was wroth with my people and you showed them no mercy. Do you hear what? Let me read this again. I would say, I was wroth with my people and you showed them no mercy. Isaiah 47, verse 6. You know, he told him, he said, you showed these people no mercy. You had no respect. And it says, and the people shall dwell alone and not be recognized among the nations. We're not recognized among the nations. The nations don't care nothing about us. You know, Numbers 23, verse 9. It says, for I am with you, said Yahweh, to save you, though I make a full end of all the nations. Why? Because the nations are into this plot to disorganize you. Who has stood up and said, I think y'all should leave these people alone? You see, that's why Yahweh said, comfort ye, my people, said Elohim, that their warfare is accomplished. Yahweh said, this is not your fight, Israel. Who is it fight? Go in Psalm 94, verse 1. Yahweh Elohim, to whom vengeance belong. Elohim, to whom vengeance belong, show thyself. That's who they have nothing to do with me. Because Yahweh has warned them. He said, for thus say Yahweh of hosts, after the glory have I sent you on to the nations that spoil you. So Yahweh is warning them. He says, look what you've done to these people. And the nations are involved in this. That's why Yahweh is, for I am with you. Yahweh said Yahweh to save you. He said, I'm with you. And my whole effort is to save you, Israel. Though I make a full end. He said, I'm going to make a full end of all these nations. Now this is written. All the nations, the Gentiles shall come. And when they start getting afflicted, Jeremiah 16, verse 19, they're going to come from the ends of the earth and say, our fathers have inherited lies. They're going to bow down to you. And as it says in Isaiah 60, verse 12, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve you shall perish. Those nations shall be utterly wasted. All that they have done, all the evil that they have done against you, Yahweh is not pleased with them. It has nothing to do, all they had to do was show us kindness. And that was too much for them. And they think we don't hate them, they hate themselves. It has nothing to do with you and me. It has everything to do with them. You know, they got what he said, go back and read the blessing. Go back and read the blessing that Isaac blessed. He said, that dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. But before he said that to him, what did he tell Esau? He said, Esau, I've made him your Lord, and I've given all his brethren to serve. And I have maintained him with corn and wine. He said, this is out of my hand. We are his Lord. I told you the universe is put in Yahweh's word is very, very precious. And I'm going to show you how precious Yahweh's word is. In Genesis 4, verse 10, it said, the voice of your brother's blood cried unto me from the ground. He said, you know, his blood, all this blood that they have shed in this country, all from the American Indians and these black people that they brought here that was helpless. And you don't think you're gonna pay for this stuff. You just think everything is all right because nobody has risen up. You have to realize that. It's not like that, my brothers and sisters. Let me go on to prove it to you. Yahweh is a righteous God.
Oh, yeah.
Then there was a famine in the day of David. 3 years, year after year, and David inquired of Yahweh. And Yahweh answered him, it is for Saul and for his bloody house, because he has slew the Gibeonites. Now, and the king called the Gibeonites and said unto them, now the Gibeonites were not one of the children of Israel, but of the remnant of the Ammonites. And the children of Israel has sworn unto them. He swore unto them. And Saul sought to slay them. When David said unto Gibeonites, what shall I do for you? And wherewith shall I make the atonement that you may bless the inheritance of Yahweh? You hear, my brothers and sisters? He said, look, we have to atone for this because Yahweh, they made an agreement. And Yahweh said, y'all gonna have to atone for this or y'all ain't get nothing. And now this is Yahweh's chosen people. He said, no, what he did, what Saul did was against that which is put in place. He gave his word. And therefore his word means everything. And just like this nation gave the word and they tore us up, tore the American Indians up. And in their treaties, they've never, so David said to him, he says, tell me what can I do to atone for it? And the Gibeonites said unto him, let's read, we will have no silver nor gold of Saul, nor of his house, neither for us shall you kill any man in Israel. And he said, what you shall say that will I do. He said, let 7 of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them. That's, brothers and sisters, serious, man. This but his word and Yahweh is a God, what they have done to us in this country. That's why he say, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquities of his fathers. The guy said, man, I didn't do that. We know you didn't do that. We're certain you didn't do that. I didn't break the law of Moses. I wasn't out there when they did it. I received it. Now I'm putting everybody keeping the commandments. I'm straightening it out so I can give my children a better life, because we made a covenant, a treaty with Yahweh to obey his commandments. Now look, you can do whatever you want to do. This is how this is going down. You get mad, but go back and read it. Yahweh, you made a covenant, you better keep it. You made an agreement with Yahweh, you better keep it. You understand? Just like this country, they took us, they better make, their children will tell you, I ain't had no slaves. We agree with you, but you never made right what your parents have done. You've never. And you heap forward the punishment. Even Yahweh said, oh my God, what did they do to these people? Go back and read this book. It is a celestial document, because Yahweh said, I've come down. This book came down from, and Yahweh came down to deliver us. We're the only people he's done that for. He don't know nobody else. He said, I've not known no nation other than you. All nations will bow at our feet. Well, you got no weapon. You ain't got. Now, one of you, your army is Yahweh God. And he's going to pay everybody back. That's why he said, I'm going to destroy. He said, wait for me that I may rise to the prey. For it is my determination to rain upon them my indignation, my all, because of what they've done to you. And I know anybody here, oh no, that's impossible. No, it ain't. It ain't impossible for them beating on you all the time, taking things from you. You understand? They got to watch their mouth, how they talk about us. You can't just talk. What Marion said something, man, Yahweh was not pleased. You cannot talk about us. If you're going to be a teacher, then teach. But be very careful how you deal with his chosen people. That's why he said, comfort ye, my people. Not everybody. And you understand? He told them that. He said, I want you to, he said, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein you are. For blood, it defiles the land. And the land cannot be clean of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of them that shed it. So that's Numbers chapter 35 from 33 to 34. This place is filthy. If they gave you America, it's worthless. It's too much blood. Innocent blood. It's nothing I can do. I can't do nothing about that. They got computers and straighten it out. I'm only telling you what's working here. If they gave it to you, that's how bad it is. But let me go on. It says, defile not that, therefore, the land which ye shall inhabit, wherein I dwell. For Yahweh dwelleth among the sons of Israel. Now, in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 15, verse 8 of the Apocrypha, behold, the innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continued. He said, man, if you could hear the moaning and the groaning, because they go in there, they even ask him, when are you going to get them for slaying your prophets? When are you going to get them for slaying your saints? It's written down there. And everything that is written is going to happen, because Yahweh's word has gone forth and it shall not come back onto him void. He's going to do everything he said he's going to do. This is don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Stay in the commandments of Yahweh God. It says there in Psalm 10, verse 8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the village. In the secret places do he murder the innocent. His eyes are privately set against the poor. Yes, you understand? It also goes to say in Proverbs 30, verse 14, to destroy the poor and needy from off the earth. Psalm 50, verse 31. These things have you done, and I kept silence. You thought that I was altogether such as one as yourself, but I will reprove you and set them in order before your eyes. So Yahweh, this is where it says in Psalm 23, verse 5, you prepared a table in the presence of my enemy. This table, because they hate us with a hatred that can't be. I've never done anything to them, so I can't apologize. What they want me to do, I can't say I'm sorry. What can I say? And they look, they don't ever want to say sorry to us, and they can keep it. But let me tell you something, Yahweh has a day for them. And it's not going to be a pleasant day, my brothers and sisters. For the violence against us is a shameful day for those. It says, whether you are poor or rich does not mean you are cursed or blessed. Yahweh bless the poor. Yahweh bless the rich. Yahweh curse the poor. Yahweh curse the rich. What's the difference? Obeying the commandments is the difference. When the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the earth in poverty, whatever nation they went to by captivity, that nation was blessed or that nation was cursed by how they were treated. See, the way we were treated. He says, Zephaniah 8, verse 13, and it shall come to pass that as you were cursed among the nations, house of Judah and house of Israel, so will I save you. Who he said he's going to save? Yahweh said he's going to save you. You understand? And you shall be a blessing. Fear not, but let your hand be strong. He said, I want you to be strong now. You understand? Be strong. He said, the Torah and the prophecy and writings have affirmed that the identity of the captive slaves brought and sold on the auction blocks of America has been authenticated that they are the 12 tribes of Israel, that they are. So these things has made it clear. They know who we are. The brothers went out there and told them. It says, it's not going to work out as they planned. See, they planned something. Remember, relax. It's not your fight. I've been telling you all this, man, this ain't your fight. Just relax. Yahweh got it. You understand? Because these people are not as brave as you think they are. With their guns and with all their missiles, when Yahweh gets ready for them, he's going to start smacking on them. And when they start smacking on them, they're going to want to change. See, because pain changes things. The spirit of Yahweh is the shield of the 12 tribes of Israel. The spirit of Yahweh is perfect. The Torah is perfect. The 12 tribes must look for information that only includes them. Information, we need information about ourselves, not about anybody else. This information, when proven, will open to them their eternal inheritance. The 12 tribes of Israel is oneness with Yahweh is forever and ever. And this is a beautiful thing, man, my brothers and sisters. Now, this is what is coming. Let me read it to you. It says in Job chapter 3, verse 15, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. It shall come to pass in that day, said Yahweh God, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in a clear day. These are the warnings. He says, Proverbs 3, verse 25, it says, be not afraid of sudden fear. This stuff is going to come suddenly. It's going to come all of a sudden. And Yahweh's telling you, this stuff is going to go, the sun is going to go down. And if that happens, man, fear is going to come into the earth. And believe me, they're not, you might think they're strong. They're not strong, brothers and sisters. They're weak people. To do what they've done to a people you went and got, that don't show me strength. That showed me weakness. You're going to pick on them and pick on them. Why are you going to pick on somebody that can't fight back? So he said, for the stars of heaven and the constellation thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And that's Isaiah 13, verse 10 to 11. This is what's going to happen. Yahweh is going to bring circumstances that is not going to be favorable for these people. It says, therefore, I will shake the heaven, and the earth shall remove out of his place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts. And in that day of his fierce anger, Yahweh says, I'm going to shake this whole place. So they talking about, we're going to run underground. You don't want to run underground. Stay out of state, stay right in. The only thing that when it is going to happen, because, see, there's a rule by which things are done on this earth. And when these rules are not done correctly, you can look forward to things. That's what the celestial document was to teach us. That was the law. It was to teach us, don't do that, because that will bring about circumstances that will really do harm. And this, when Yahweh gave it to us, it was for us to teach the world. And when we came into this dispensation, Yahweh felt that the nations that knew who we were would take care of us better, because we would labor and that nation would come to great prosperity. And America has become to great prosperity, my brothers and sisters, because of you and me. Now, you don't have to believe it. You said, just look, they'll tell you, oh, you didn't do nothing. We did it all. Not some of it, all of it. But it's for you to understand that. I'm not looking for praise for them. I'm looking to know the truth about for myself. And I understand their fear. They fear. Because they know it's not us. Okay. So it's very important. I want to also get you to understand. And I'm at Leviticus 18. It says, I'm Leviticus 18, verse 24. Defile not yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. Now you can go into Leviticus 18 and read all of it. I'm not going to read all of it. But these things that was done caused, let me tell you, it says, and the land is defiled. Therefore, I do visit the iniquities there upon it. And the land itself vomit out her inhabitants. The land is going to erupt. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourn among you. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which are before you, and the land is defiled. It defiles the land. What it says, also thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness as long as she is put apart from her uncleanness. Moreover, thou shalt not lie with carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with. Thou shalt not lie, let any of thy seed pass through the fire of Molech. Neither shalt thou profane the name of Yahweh your God. I am Yahweh. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. Neither shall thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. Defile not yourselves in any of these things, for in all these things the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. So when we went into that land, they were being cast out. Why? Because they had done these things that Yahweh told him. What he said, because they have done it, the land begins to what? Erupt. Yes, the land begins to tell another story, that you have to understand how things are done in the physical world. He says, and also the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf from off from the vine, and as a fallen fig from the fig tree. So that's Isaiah 34, verse 4. Yahweh's going to change all this around. You one day, and it's going to bring such fear in their heart, because in Zechariah verse 1 to 15, it says, and I am very displeased with the nations. It said heathens, but if you do it in Hebrew, it's nations that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they heap forward the affliction. But what did Yahweh said in his word, Isaiah 54, verse 7? For a small moment have I forsaken you, but with great mercy will I gather you. So Yahweh is telling Israel, you're fine. It's going to work out very exceptionally good for you. All Yahweh wants you to do is keep those commandments. Just keep the commandments. Do as Yahweh has told you to do, and you shall be all right. Don't worry about the storm coming. It's going to come. And the same way we in Egypt, what did he do? How did Yahweh do? You understand? He said, I've come down. When he says in Isaiah 37, verse 16, he said, I am the God of Israel. They said, who God is this? He only took one people. He said, told him, he said, I am the Holy One of Israel. He told me, he said, Shema, he said, Israel, I only know you. I love you. I care about you. You understand? And when you read it, he makes it clear. And he tells you, he says, I have an everlasting love for you. Because he said, man, you double crossed me, but I still love you. I want you to come home. In those days and at that time, said Yahweh, the iniquity of Israel will be sought for. Hold on. The iniquities of Yahweh, of Israel shall be sought for, and they shall be none. And the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found. For I will pardon them whom I reserve. He said, you've been pardoned. He said to Yahweh, that's Jeremiah 50, verse 20. He says, in those days and in that time, said Yahweh, the iniquity of Yasharallah shall be sought for. They're going to look for it. And there shall be none. And the sin of Judah, and they shall not be found. For I will pardon them for whom I reserve. Though Israel be as he said, the remnant of Israel shall not do no iniquity, nor shall anything be found in their mouth. Because the power is in our mouth and in the cleanliness of our bodies to keep the commandments of Yahweh God. You ain't getting out of this because you got a degree or you're a doctor. It ain't going down like that. You can have a gun. You can't shoot at no spirit, because we solved everything. And you can go in the book. Them Ruachs came in and slaughtered everybody. I can give you the chapters. We was down there and they came in, and Yahweh said, you know, that Ruach came down on that priest, boom, gave him the message, just go up there. And they went up there and they were all dead. The spirits came. The spirits gonna come in this country and kill everybody. It's coming, my brothers and sisters. You don't have to wait for it. It's coming. I guarantee you. Wait, how you think you're getting out of here? Where you think you going? Who have you gonna put? You ain't going out of space with them. And when they go, he already told you Yahweh's going to take that whole structure of this of the star system. They finished. It's written right here. I'm not making it up. It's written in the book. What's the book? A celestial document. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return. And I will build them as at the first. And I will clean them from all their iniquities whereby they have sinned against me. And I will pardon all their iniquity whereby they have sinned and whereby they have transgressed against me. This is what Yahweh gonna do for you. He loves you, Jeremiah 33, verse 8. He says, I have blotted out as a thick cloud your transgression, and as a cloud your sins. Return unto me, for I have redeemed you. That's Isaiah 44, verse 22. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is an essential piece of information that will allow you to walk through the fire, because Yahweh promised you. And the only way you can survive in that fire is if the word is not in you or with you, you will not be able. While people are going there, man, like, how are we going to save ourselves? Well, it's already in you. You can't save yourself, my brothers and sisters, without you keeping the commandments of Yahweh God. It's over. You understand? Don't be mad with nobody. Be mad with yourself. If you know now. Now, if I'm not telling you the truth, then go in there. You ain't got no other alternative but to be obedient, because that's the only thing that's gonna save you. Go to court and see what he's gonna do. He's gonna look at you like you crazy. What you want to do is understand, put on your garment. Put on them zitzes. Come on now. It says Yahweh has waited for the 12 tribes of Israel. It should be the deepest honor and respect that the 12 tribes of Israel wait for him. So we owed it to him. We owe, because Yahweh has been so kind and so generous to us. We owe it to him to wait. Just be patient. You understand? If you go into 2 Kings 19, 20 and verse 35, Yahweh sent his angel. And the angel killed them all. How you think what's going to happen? And Jehoshaphat, what did Yahweh tell me? He said, for the battle is not yours, but Elohim. He sent them angels down there and killed everybody. That's how it's going to work out. It ain't going to work out no other way. Well, how you think you're getting out of here? The oceans are going, all that is going to change, because once eventually Manhattan Island is going to be underwater. It's coming. As sure as I'm sitting here. So Yahweh said in Isaiah 11, why? Because we in Egypt. And it shall come to pass in that day, said Yahweh, shall he set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people. See, so Yahweh, no, this is the second time we're in Egypt. And you have to know, Yahweh said, I'm gonna come for you. All I want you to do is keep the commandments, because then I can find you. You understand? Don't worry about the people. The people ain't got no other choice but to follow you, because I'm not after you, I'm after them. You understand? You gotta understand how this works. And I want you to relax and know how important you are. You're a very important group of people. You understand? And I want you to be strong in righteousness and obedience. It says, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. Neither shall the flames be kindled upon you. That's Isaiah 43, verse 2. I love this, because it says, and I will bring the blind by a way that they know not. I will lead them in the path that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them and not forsake them. That's so beautiful. Behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the crust of the earth. And with them, the blind and them lame, the woman with child and her that traveled with child. Together, a great company shall return. And that's Jeremiah 31, verse 8. And I love reading it because it's what we are going to be able to accomplish, my brothers and sisters. Ain't nobody gonna take it from us because they got to take it away from Yahweh. And they ain't that bad and they ain't that strong. But Yahweh wants us to trust in his word. He wants us to know that he truly loves us. He wants us to know how precious we are. And all I can say, this lesson, I like to say it's a master lesson. Because in 1 Samuel verse 31, it said, and the child Samuel ministered unto Yahweh before Eli. And the word of Yahweh was precious in those days, and there was no vision open. So the word of Yahweh is so precious because it told Israel how to move through the earth. Well, this is why this is a celestial document of the Torah, prophecy, and writings that has come to you to tell you how to move through the earth, how to have a meeting with the Ruach of Yahweh God. That's important. You must understand that you are very important and Yahweh loves you. He truly loves you. And I just want to tell you, I just want to make an announcement. Yah and me is the congregation of Yah and me is the Ruach of Yah that dwells in us. And that's my name because the Ruach gave it to me so I could give it to the people so the people will know we are spiritual people. And the only way you can pick up that Ruach is by obeying what it has said for you to do, to keep those commandments, to understand that you are Israel. From Genesis to Malachi, from Genesis to Malachi is it's talking about you. It ain't talking about nobody else. You Israel, right? Well, the whole book is talking about you. Yahweh coming to get you. Yahweh telling you how he's going to work it out. It's so this whole book continue to affirm exactly what I'm saying. And we don't have to worry about our enemy. Just like it says in 2nd Ezra, chapter 9, verse 11. And they that have lost my Torah, while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despise it. The same must know it after death by pain. So when they go in the grave, it's not really no fun. You know what I'm saying? They think that they're going to die and escape this. No, it don't work that way. I don't know who told them that. You know what I'm saying? When we read this book, it tells you they shall go into darkness with the generations of their fathers. It told them where they're going. So the thing is that they think that because they beat on us and there's no, that they don't have to repent for it. And this beating on us was the best thing that they can do. And they've done it. And they've done it viciously. And because why? It says here, he shall go to the generation of his fathers. They shall never see light. That's right. He said, though while he liveth, he blessed his soul, and men will praise you when thou dost well to thyself. He shall go to the generation of his fathers. They shall never see light. The wickedness that they have done to a helpless people. And you got to understand, he's being charged because he did it to his brother. If you go in there, in this book, it never said your weapon is your obedience to the commandments of Yahweh God. There's nowhere in this book that Yahweh told you to pick up a weapon or do anything. He said, you have no power. So if you don't have any power, who has the power but Yahweh God that you must serve? Because he's your total, he totally, Israel, will protect you. He said, at that time, I will gather them. He said, at a time, at the time, at a time. So all of this is based on time. It ain't gonna happen, but you will see it as these things begin to take place and bring fear into their hearts. And they're gonna know that Yahweh is with you. And when they see that Yahweh is with you, they're gonna come down and bow at your feet. You don't have to look for them. They're gonna find you. You understand? Because the fear is taken from you and putting on them. It even said how we feared for our lives. I mean, we in this country that they went and got us, man, there was nothing better for them to feel in their heart than to lynch us, to castrate us, to take pieces of our flesh and put it in their pocket. And they don't want, let me tell you something. This should never bring hatred in your heart. What it should bring in your heart is a reality, a truth. And then in that reality, you want to find out, where do I have a sanction that I can enter into so that I can be safe? The only place you can enter into, it says, our help is in the name of Yahweh who made heaven and earth. It said the name is a strong tower and the righteous runneth into it. And it say, what is it? The righteous. How's the righteous? Keeping the commandments. You can't duck that ruach. You can lie, but you can lie, but you can't lie to that spirit. That spirit, no. But if you make it an effort, a true and committed effort, that ruach will help you. It will help you. It will lead you on. But we are spirit. You don't have to look for it. It will get you. Saying the blessing shall come upon you, and the curse shall come up. The curse is on these people. You can't see it. What Yahweh gonna do against us, man? We on the bottom of the bottom. But those, you understand, we don't make global decisions. We ain't got no atomic bombs. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't got no gun factory. We ain't got no army. We got nothing. But when we start keeping those commandments and that ruach comes upon you, and that ruach delivers you, you'll know. It said the remnant. When I meet the remnant, I know. They're different. You understand? When you meet that remnant, different. Oh yes. The remnant of Israel shall not do no iniquity, nor shall what any lies be in their mouth. They're pure. But we have to learn to work with it. We got to work with it. We got to work with it. We got to work with it. And I bid everyone the very best of the best. And I thank you for giving me your time. And I sent this message out to everybody, told, come hear this. Because you ain't got no other way out. This is a straight path. You ain't got no other way out. If you know another way out, let me know. There's only one way. You got to keep these commandments. And we praise Yahweh. We thank him for his kindness that he has given us. And I thank him so much for you, because I know you struggle, and that's good. Kala, kalaya, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. None. They scheming, but they scheming on themselves. And in that day you shall say, Yahweh, I will praise you, though you are angry with me. Your anger is turned away, and you comfort me. Behold, Allah is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. For Yahweh is my strength and my song. He also is my salvation. Therefore, with joy shall you draw waters out of the wells of salvation. And in that day shall ye say, praise Yahweh, call upon his name, declare his doings among the people. Make mention that his name is exalted. Sing unto Yahweh, for he has done excellent things. This known in all the earth. Cry out and shout, you inhabitants of Zion. For great is the Holy One of Israel. What? In the midst of you. He's told Israel, he said, Israel, I'm going to tell you where I'm not going to leave the earth. I'm going to tell you where I'm going. We know exactly where he's going. We know exactly where he's going to be. Why? Because Yahweh told us. He told us, he said, Israel, let me tell you where I'm going. I wanted to, like everybody else, when you have this book, this is the master book for you. You don't have to worry about nobody else. This book will tell you where your God is at. And you know, if you understand about other things, you'll understand it'll tell you where the devil's at. But at the same, he said the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. What he meant was this place is gone because the wicked is going to destroy it, all of it. It ain't going to be nothing left. If Yahweh does not stop him, ain't nobody going to make it because he's reckless. He don't care about himself. He don't care about nobody. As long as he's in power, that's what he cares about. And you should realize, but let's talk about, before I leave, where your God is going to be. And he says, and the word of Yahweh came on to me saying, thus said Yahweh of hosts, I was jealous for Zion with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury. He said, I was jealous for her. Thus said Yahweh, I am returned unto Zion, and I will dwell in the midst of what? Jerusalem. He said, he said, and Jerusalem shall be called a city of truth, and the mountain of Yahweh of hosts, the holy mountain. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. And the streets of the city shall be full of children, boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. My brothers and sisters, that's where we're going. Yahweh already told you where he's going to be, son. He ain't got nothing to do with Israel. That place over there, he said, I'm going back to Jerusalem. I'm going to clear that whole land. They're getting the people out because Yahweh going to destroy it. People, I'm home. No, man, get out of there. The Ruach is coming through. And when he come through, look, like you said, I've seen the wicked in great power, spreading himself like a green bay tree. He says, I look, it's going to come so suddenly, you ain't going to be able to find it. Because he's not really brave. You might think he's brave. He's not. I'm telling you, he's scared. He's scared. It's just that it hasn't come to him yet. I keep telling you, I think every black, white child should see Governor Wallace when he was a raging maniac with his racist self. And that bullet hit him, he became the nicest man you ever want to know. It's pain, my brothers and sisters. Just pain. When he said, look, if you kick me, I'll say ouch. But when this man, we've said ouch, and he just keep kicking us. Man, I mean, what can you kick? You done kicked me in the same place continuously for as long as I've been here. And you've had no mercy on me. Not one. What mercy have you had on me? You sicked everybody on me. Everybody come, don't have nothing to do with who say we want anything to do with them. You have to understand, they have plotted and schemed, and it's worthless. Why? We don't make global policy. We have nothing to do. We're just waiting. And that's why he said, I've seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. That's how this is going to go so fast. You ain't going to be able to, a twinkling of an eye. So with all my love and respect for you, and I thank you because I know who you are, and people better treat you well because you carry the blessing and the curse. They can be shooting these people up like I tell them. Shoot me with that needle, I'm cursing everybody in your family and all your generation. Why? Because you have what? Sabotaged my health, my well-being. Now, if it's good, then I'll take it. Now, you know anything that it will bring me harm? Let me tell you something. Life doesn't start until you leave this body. Life doesn't start until you leave this body. Once you leave this body, that's life. And I'm gonna tell you a secret. You'll be able to pick your body up again. Now I ain't gonna go no further than that, but it'll be all right. You're fine. You'll live. You'll live and live and live. But you have to understand these. You know they talk about death. Death to who? Death to who? Who's talking about your God is a living God? Wait, death. Death to who? Death to them? No, not you. To them, they already dead. You see what I'm saying? They come in there, they want to kill you. Go back and read the Apocrypha and the wisdom of Solomon. Read it. The book of Ecclesiastes said there are men that have never died. They've never seen. They move on. My brothers and sisters, these things that we see in this earth are children's play. I want to say something to you. All children in Egypt knew how to build a pyramid. All of them. Because it's simple math. But the complexity of it was volume and density. And one day I hope that the Ruach allowed me to get more into it. But to be able to prove what I'm saying, you have to have things where people can say it. See it. But that's it. Yeah, wasn't. We had traveled the universe, and that was very easy for us because the Spirit took us. So that's what happened. What's happening in the earth, and I want you to know you're fine. And I thank you for your time. And I want to ask, is Sister Sadia, are you on? Okay, I thought she was here. Anyway, I want to thank you for your time.
I'm here, Rabbi.
Oh,
Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you for being here. I'd like for you to say something, please.
Okay. Give thanks. Thank you for that lesson, Rabbi. And peace and blessings, shalom and blessings to the family, to Yasharal. Praise Yah. This is the 9th month, and it's not my place to follow the rabbi, but I'm going to go through this so we know where we are in terms of the climate in our agrarian agricultural society. First, let me just offer praise to the Most High. Elohim is omnipotent in battles. Yahuwah is his name. Elohim, who will not forsake us nor desert us. Oh Yah, that we not fear, that we not be dismayed. As you, oh Yah, was with Mashah, so shall you be with the scattered of Yasharal and our seed forever. Oh, praise Yahuwah in the highest, Elohim, the Elohim of our fathers, Abraham, Yishachak, and Yaakov, the mighty one of Yasharal, whose name is our fortress, is our high tower. We praise you and give you the glory and honor that is all yours. Yeshana, Barakabah Hashem, Yahuwah, Hosanna, blessed is the one who comes in the name of Yahuwah. So again, greetings, beloved, the scattered of Israel. I hope you are well. I hope your households are well. And when I say that, I mean, I know that we all have our cycles of, but that we have shalom in spite of. Whether we are based or abound, that we be content. So I lift up my voice unto Yah for us all. in these times and in times to come. So this is the 9th month of the year, and bless the beloveds, because we all striving. So bless the beloveds that are using Enoch Hanak calendar, or however they're judging. It might be the 8th month for some, but for this lesson, for my understanding that I'm sharing, this is the 9th month of the year. It is, you'll see it in scripture as Cheslu or Kislov, Kasalu. It's the period of time being November, December, as Nov in Latin means 9. Though this time has been taught to us that it's the 11th month of the year, and that would be based on the sun calendar. And our time is fixed lunar, because we are agrarian society. Knowing the times, the Latin times, our word is the word of Yahuwah, gives us a foundation for so much. Even when we are learning the counterfeit, which may be the Latin and the Greek, it gives us a basis, a foundation, even for the languages. Whatever's there as a stumbling block for us is also our stepping stone. And I wanted to I wanted to share all of the professions and the skills that we have in our economy, in our history, because I think maybe sometimes those things are overlooked, and these are things that each one of us possess some type of knowledge of, and some type of skill, and some are even working in these fields. But these are some of the professions that I have found in Israel and Yasharal, the upright of Yahuwah, the upright of Elohim. These are some of the professions that I have found. Historian, meteorology, geology, geography, astronomy, mathematics and science, carpentry, masonry, mining, shearing, weaving in various types of needlework, military, spying and investigations. If you remember the spies during the time of Yahusha or Joshua, linguists, and noting that the spies and investigators had to know the languages of all of the enemies of Yasharel. So they were multilingual. Musician, accounting, welding, dyers, tailor, jewelers, farming, shepherding, and of course, agriculture. The list of skills goes on and on. These are skills that our ancestors beheld, and many of us in this time have also beheld it. Some have been taught, some things have been passed down, and some things have been triggered just in our spirits to do. We don't have to be masters by the standard of the earth. And the thing that I think led me to point this out is that our children right now need our help. Rather is the children from your own loins, or the children from your sister's loins, your brothers, or your neighbors. But the children really need help. They're teaching our children abominations in these schools, in the public schools and in the private schools. Even Barnard here in New York supposed to have some status, but they're teaching abominations in these schools. And if you've chosen homeschooling, or if you have to send your children to school out of doors, on the other side of your doors, these are the things that they should be grounded in, because this is their ancestry. And I believe that when we practice the things of our ancestors, that triggers our internal remembrance. So whenever they get to the point of burning books and, invoking Sunday laws and all of these type of things, these things are written in our DNA. You can't burn that, because that breathes and lives with us. And there's things that we remember that no one has taught us. We didn't learn it in our households. We didn't learn it in our schools. But Yah spoke to us even before we knew him. He knew us. And this is why we are joined on this call. This is evidence of that. We come from different backgrounds, different places in our walks. Some people raised in Baptist and Islam and Buddha, whatever it is, it's all relative. But right now, we are here. And so these are some of the things. I think that we run from things because we think that we don't know. And so we're not maybe teaching the children or sharing with them. But we know, all we need to know is one thing that we can share with our young. Masters by the standard of Yah, not so much the people or the world. Proverbs 14:29 says, "He who is patient has great understanding." And 2 Timothy 1:6-7 says, "For this reason I remind you to stir up the gift of Elohim, which is in you through the laying of the hands. For Elohim has not given us a spirit of cowardice, but of power, love, and control." So now that we have come to know that we are Yasharel, the noun, it's time that we be Yasharel, the verb. The noun is the who, but the verb is the action of who we are. The motion, the movement guided by the lamp, the light, that's Yahuwah's word, the absolute word that the rabbi just brought to us. As each Kepha Aleph, 1 Peter 4:10, as each one has received a gift, serve one another as good trustees of the manifold favor of Elohim. Everybody knows something, at least one thing, and one thing is enough. So let us trust Yahuwah that we activate that one talent, that it will grow and expand into another. And please read and meditate upon the parable of the talents in Mathathayahu 25:14-30. So I want to say that the agriculturally, what we would be doing at this time, we would be revisiting last month's agricultural mention. This is the 9th month, and it's the 2nd month of 4 to 5 rainy month seasons that follows the summer drought. It's still a period of early rains that soften the land in order to plow. So we are in the sowing season. We are an agricultural, agrarian society. We are the resource of this earth. So this is our season to plow and to plant for the spring harvest. And this is a prophetic history, prophetic real time, and prophetic future. This is also our time for hibernation. This is our time to plow for our spring harvest, which is in stark contrast with these darker days that are the time for the heathen and the idolaters. Their folly day season that begin with the folly day of Halloween, moving straight through until Valentine's Day. So while this is their out time, the darkest days of the year, this is our end time. This is our time in this economy to work overtime, to stay more indoors and build family. This is our time to go inward. This is our hibernation time, which is the natural season for hibernation, even with other animal species. So the principles and the practices of our agrarian society can still be applied as we reorientate ourselves and return back, as the familiarities will trigger our remembrance. When we read the word and we live the word becomes flesh as we practice and participate in those things of the word. So just to mention a couple of things that have taken place in the 9th month, in Haggai 2:18, consider this from this day onward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, since the 9th day, the foundation of Yahuwah's temple was laid. Zechariah 7:1, in the 4th year of King Darius, the word of Yahuwah came to Zechariah in the 4th day of the 9th month, which is Chislev. In Leviticus 26:4, then I will give you your rains in their season, and the land shall yield its increase, and the trees of the field shall yield their fruit. So when we see the rains in the rainy seasons, we know that it's in this time period, this time region. Jeremiah 5:24, they do not say in their hearts, let us fear you, who are Elohim, who gives the rain in its season, the autumn rain and the spring rain, and keeps us for the weeks appointed for the harvest. And let's not forget the Maccabees. I'm hoping that we can even at some point this month have a reading of the Maccabees, share just a read along with the upcoming dedication, Hanukkah. Now on the 5 and 20th day of the month, which is called the month of Caslu, in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning and offered sacrifice according to the law upon their new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made. Look at what time of day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that, it was dedicated with songs and cisterns and harps and cymbals. This goes on. This is First Maccabee 4:52 to 59. You can follow up on that. And then the Apocrypha Esdras, chapter 9, verse 5. And in 3 days were all they of the tribe of Yehuda and Benjamin gathered together in Jerusalem, the 20th day of the 9th month. And all the multitude sat trembling in the broad court of the temple because of the present foul weather. So Esdras arose up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives, thereby to increase the sins of Yasharel. So there are many examples. One from Hadashah, Yachanan, John 10, 22, 23. At that time, Hanukkah came to be in Jerusalem, and it was winter. And Yahusha was walking in the set apart place in the porch of Shalom. So Yahusha also kept the Hanukkah. The Hanukkah is not one of the annual Shabbats, but it is a commemorative festival, and it's in the 9th month, and it goes into the 10th month, the 10th new moon. So when we meet again for the 10th new moon, we will still be in the season of Hanukkah. So I will end there. I'll give a closing scripture in 1 Maccabees 4:30-33. Blessed are you, Savior of Yasharel, who did stop the violence of the mighty man by the hand of your servant Ahud, and gave the host of strangers into the hands of Yehuthanan, the son of Shaul, and his armor bearer. In like manner, shut up this army in the hands of your people, Yasharel, and let them be ashamed of their army and horsemen. Make them cowardly and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction. Strike them down with the sword of them that love you, and let all those that know your name praise you with thanksgiving. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in the sight of Yahuwah. I ask that he shine his face upon you, as well as my household, your household, and show us favor and shalom.
Shalom. I just want to say thank you so much. And I want everyone to know we're fine. We're on time because Yahweh's on time. So if he ain't late, we can't be late because we're one with him. So don't be afraid. Let's hold each other's hand. That's why I said, gather yourself together, O nation, not desire before the decree come forth. So let's come together. And those of us that are the remnant, those of us that understand, we have come together. And I thank you so much for your time. And may the Spirit continue to bless you in every way. And remember, he'll find you as long as you're doing that which will give you the certain vibration to where the Ruach will draw towards you. And that is, let's encourage each one of us to keep those commandments, okay? And may Yah bless you in every way. And shalom, my brothers and sisters. It's my pleasure to serve you. And may Yahweh bless you and keep you and your family in all your endeavors. Shalom. Lala Tov.
Shalom. Shalom. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Shalom. And Toda, Rabbi and Sadia.
Toda, Rabbi.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Shalom.
Hallelujah. Lala Tov. Awesome. Totally awesome.
Shalom, beloved.
Shalom. Toda, Rabbi.
Shalom, Rabbi.